hey, man, you don't have to be upset. You don't have to grieve. You don't have to worry. You don't have to have fear. Jesus can handle it.
Hey, this is Ryan Tucker, and we want to thank you for listening to the Unchangeable Truth podcast. In this podcast, we get to dive into Pastor Stephen's weekly sermons right here at Highland Park Baptist Church. We would ask you to rate, like, subscribe, and comment. And again, we are honored and thankful that you have chosen to listen to the Unchangeable Truth. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Unchangeable Truth podcast with Pastor Stephen right here at Highland Park Baptist Church. And we didn't get to record last week, so, you know.
Well, we had a guest speaker, so we didn't record. I mean, we could have, but we have a few extras in the hopper.
We do.
And so there's a reason why Journey keeps those there for
and you're busy traveling.
You know. Just
busy.
I guess. I like staying at home.
Me too.
I just like staying at home. Man, I flying back in last night and worked it out where, okay, I can get home and, you know, get everything settled down so I can sleep and get back to the normal rotation. I had about an hour layover in Atlanta, which is kind of about what you want, to be able to, you know, to get from one gate to the next and be able to be there when they start boarding. You don't want it to be, I don't want it to be longer than that when I'm coming home. Now, I don't mind when I'm going.
Yeah.
But some folks are like, I just like to get to Atlanta airport and hang out a little. Count me not in that list. So we get there, though. The plane leaves 2.5 hours late. The situation, plane's at the gate. Pilots on the plane, but they're waiting on the crew.
Yep.
And I'm like, we don't need a crew. As long as there's a pilot.
That's right.
And if there's anything happens back here that's bad, we'll handle it.
We'll serve coffee.
I don't even have to have coffee.
Yeah.
Atlanta to Panama City, I mean, wheels up, wheels down, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
So we don't need any of that. And if anybody starts acting up, we'll deal with it.
I remember the last time you and I were in the Atlanta airport. I said, hey, man, why don't you go ahead and go through your pre-check, man? I'll meet you on the other side. And then we walked over to the regular people line to get pre-check or get through a TSA, and it was absolutely
terrible.
Packed. I think we stood there for an hour and a half.
People breaking line, man.
Then you said you would never do that again.
Did you get pre-check?
Not yet.
Come on, man. It's like $80.
It's not the money part. It's I forget. I don't travel as much as you do. But.
Golly. Matter of fact, so we ran into this traveling. Jennifer and I took our 18-year-old son with us on this little quick trip. By the way, to the Ark and the Creationism Museum, got to hang out with the founder, Ken Ham.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, brilliant, just brilliant guy. And real quick trip, and so Reed, my son, has always had. He's like, as a result of being our child, he just gets to do pre-check too. Well, he's 18.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had one TSA agent tell me, that stops at 12. I'm like, wrong. No, it's 17, but he's over 17. So, we stuck him in the regular line and we went through our own because we didn't want to unload everything in our backpack. And Jennifer said, we got to get him. If he's going to travel with us, we got to get him that because there's sometimes you come up and you're like, oh, well, that line's as quick as the other. But the problem, it's not necessarily the line as much as you just don't have to take everything out.
Yeah.
And you don't have to, I guess you don't have to take your shoes off now anymore anyway, I don't think.
Depends on the airport.
I guess so. But, I'll not go anywhere with you until you get that. That was miserable. Because we had enough time where we're like, hey, man, we'll get something to eat, and we'll sit down at the gate and just chill. And then people started breaking the line, Journey, and I'm not one of those, okay, you got to follow the rules. But if they're going to be rules, let's follow them. And if somebody doesn't follow the rules and I'm following the rules, we got a problem. Oh, and I was telling, hey, no, what are you doing? You can't be doing that.
No cutting.
Yeah, I mean, crud. There's a reason why 450 of us are back here.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. Hey, I offered. I said, man, I will
did.
meet you at the
You
gate.
did.
You just want to hang out with me.
I did. Why didn't
That's
you know?
how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I didn't want you to be left behind. Show up and have to call your wife. I don't know where he is. Last time I saw him, he was getting in that line.
Yeah, he's stuck in pre-check still.
I tell you, hey, but the cost of flights, woo, have you priced that recently?
Yes.
Goodness. I've got a trip to Kenya coming up in in August, and I've kind of been waiting. All right, let me wait. I'll wait to get my tickets, and it's just continued to get higher and higher to the point where I told somebody yesterday. I said, I don't know if I'm going to spend the money to go on this trip. I mean, I need to go over there. I'm supposed to be doing some pastor training and stuff, but it is unbelievable, the cost. I mean, I may have to get rid of somebody on our staff if I decide to go to get plane tickets.
And then the day that you purchase them, the next day they'll go down.
And listen, I'm flying on Ethiopian Airlines, so it's not one of these big, massive, luxurious planes. I'm like, is there anything? I mean, I know there is Kenyan Airlines. They don't come to the States though, or they don't come to Atlanta. So, but it was I'd been doing a lot of traveling, and so we're recording a little bit later than normal this week, and. It's good. We were just talking before because we're in the middle of the week right now. So I don't know. This thing may hit tomorrow. It all depends on Journey's schedule. But when we finish one speaking or one preaching moment, we're moving to the next.
Yeah.
And you've already done prep ahead of time, but I have to be careful. I can't really, even though I do prep ahead of time, I can't really dig into it until I'm finished with the last one.
Yeah.
I'm like that even when I'm doing crusades or conferences and preaching every day in a row because they'll all start going together. My mind's just not, it's not like a Ken Ham that I was hanging out with. So Journey was like, I can notice when we're not recording on our exact day, sometimes some of the things that you guys talk about kind of roll over into this. So we may get a lot of that because I'm doing the life of David tonight, and then a few days I'll be doing Revelation 6. So I'd just say to our listeners, go to our website.
That's right.
You can pull up all those, and maybe you can weed through everything and just pull out the little nuggets that you can find there.
Well, what a specific text to miss, and then have to come in and do a podcast for it. So,
well, and hey, you were actually preaching somebody.
I was, but. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
You were preaching at our Windmark Beach campus.
I've
heard good reports, and
I got to wear flip flops and shorts and a Hawaiian shirt, so I felt really good over there.
Preached on the prodigal son,
love of a father. Yeah,
that's what
I use that text, but use love of the father. Yeah,
that's to me. That's what it ought to be named.
Yeah,
not the parable of the prodigal son, but the parable of the loving father.
Yeah. Well, I even said in my sermon, Charles Dickens even says it's the greatest short story ever written. It's a great parable. Great parable, man.
Sure is. So there you go.
Anyway.
But this is not about your sermon, so we don't need to be asking questions, I guess, right?
I might do a better job if you want to talk about
your wife wasn't even here to take notes for you.
I know it, man. Goodness.
It's okay. Maybe you and Journey need to swap seats. I don't know.
We'd have to blur his face out.
Yeah, he likes that anonymity.
It is on YouTube. You can watch it,
Oh, the sermon? Yeah, I didn't think about that. He's had a few days. He could have watched it.
Well, we're rolling out a new check-in system tonight, so I've been working on some of that. Anyway.
He has other duties to his job.
That's the other thing. Anyway, the 7 seals, man. I don't even know the title of the sermon. What's the title of the sermon?
Yeah, I think it's, is it A Glimpse into Heaven?
There
Journey?
we go.
No, that was last week.
That was last week.
This is worthy as
worthy is the Lamb.
There we go.
Is the Lamb.
I knew it. I was just seeing if you guys did.
Man, are you guys prepared for this?
We are. I got notes right here. So
I don't write my sermon titles on my sermon notes.
I see that.
Yeah. Worthy is the Lamb.
Then,
makes sense.
So, I mean, you've been talking a little bit about heaven the last couple of weeks. Are you an expert on what heaven looks like and what it's going to be like and everything that we're going to do?
I'm an expert of nothing, but I think the Bible gives us as good of a idea of what heaven will be like being on this side of it.
Yeah.
We just have to understand we're limited.
Yeah.
Here's John. doing the best he can to convey what the Spirit of God is revealing to him. And I think he was even limited, just probably in the vocabulary and the vernacular, to even to put into words. I say this all the time when I preach through Revelation. There's no doubt there had to be some times where he just tossed the pen up into the air and just said, "Glory be to God." Wow, I can't even put that down. But I think the key to it is, what makes heaven heaven? Well, Jesus is there. And I love what we saw last week as we were looking at this text. There's almost like John's playing with us just a little bit here. There's just, oh no, there's not one. There's not one. I say him. Maybe Jesus having a little bit of fun there, but him kind of hanging off the side, and then the angel basically saying, "Why are you crying?
Yeah.
There's one here that can do it.
Yeah.
May I introduce you, ladies and gentlemen?" Steve Harvey. I'm not a big Steve Harvey guy because some of his stuff can get a little out there, right? Some of the things he talks
Is that
about.
the Family Feud dude?
It is the Family Feud dude, but he's a comedian as well. But I don't watch Family Feud because so much of their stuff there is geared towards, I believe, improper things. But it wasn't like the days when the guy who kissed everybody. Now he was a little messed up, but I don't think he said bad stuff. Anyway, Steve Harvey does this thing where he's basically saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to," and he goes through all the names of Jesus, and man, it's just so powerful building up to it, and it's a great piece there. But almost like this angel is like, "I don't understand. Why are you crying?
Yeah.
Why are you upset? Let me introduce you to my friend." Wasn't there a movie, Journey, where they said, "Let me introduce you to my little friend" or something? No?
Yeah, Scarface.
Well, there you go. There you go. I would not encourage people watching that either. I've never watched it from beginning to end. Now, in Journey's defense, before he got saved, he probably watched it. So I got saved as a young man. So if I watched it, I shame on me. But I've heard that said many times.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
Yeah, there you go.
So the seven seals on this scroll, and then you even talk about some of the symbolism of some of these seals, and I know that you talked a little bit about numbers. The number system, what the 24 is. But one of the things I found interesting as I was kind of reading through this, when you talk about the seven seals, and then you talk about the symbolism of the legal kinsman, can you kind of expound, or can you talk a little bit about that legal? Because that's a great thought. And I'll let you get into it, but man, that's a powerful moment there.
It would have made all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
To the Jews.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I even talked about in the sermon to understand when it comes to this kinsman redeemer or legal kinsman is Jews they're not going to sell land unless they come to the point where I absolutely have no other option. Yeah. But the way it was set up, not sure it is that way today, but the way it was set up during biblical times is the title deed to the property, it always stayed with the family. And it would be usually sealed with whatever the family crest or, insignia is, whatever the case is. And even though, let's say they would sell that land to someone, basically at any point in time, somebody that could prove that they were of the family. Yeah. It could be generations later. If they could prove they were of the family and they had the money to pay the price that was originally bought for it, hey, they're a kinsman. They can buy back the land. Yeah. And so as this is taking place here, it's really a beautiful picture of what is happening with Christ. Christ being the kinsman redeemer, Christ being this legal kinsman as far as, okay, who owns the soul? Who owns the salvation that we need? That would be God the Father. So there's got to be a legal redeemer there, a legal kinsman, and that would be someone of that lineage, right? In that Jesus Christ, God in the flesh, but was able to pay the price. Well, he paid the price, which was his blood on Calvary. And so he's already paid that. He rightfully is an heir to this, and so he is buying back what God owns. Yeah. And we talk about, well, how did it change hands? Well, that's called the curse of sin. Yeah. And so sin entered in, and sin put us in bondage. sin separated us from God. There's got to be somebody that's a part of this lineage that can come in and buy back what sin took from, and that would be Jesus Christ. It gets lost on us. We don't really understand it, but I'm telling you, to the Jew, it would have been earth-shattering. Oh, yes, yes, there is one, and his name is Jesus Christ. And so he's the only one. You know, it even says that there's nobody that can open the 7 seals on this scroll, much less even hold it.
Yeah.
And no, there is one. There is a rightful one that can do it because of who he is, and really tells us even more about the character and the nature of Christ, but his worthiness, and that he is God, as we said earlier, God in the flesh.
Well, and I like some of the language that you use, because you said we forfeited that inheritance because of sin, but then he is the one who is worthy to redeem what mankind forfeited when we sinned. So I think, I don't know, man, that kind of puts it into perspective and kind of gets almost kind of like a humbling moment there, realizing how serious this is and what we've done, and the fact that, man, Jesus is the one. I was asking our women's ministry director right before we walked in here. I was telling her, hey, I missed this, this sermon because I was at Windmark,
and she did too. Was she out of town or was she here?
I don't know. I wasn't here.
I thought they were over. No.
Well, she was probably a good employee and watched it on YouTube or something. But she said, "Here's what I got." She said he was desperate, and Jesus was able to answer him. Or I forget how she worded it, but she's like, he was desperate, but Jesus is the one that fulfills. And I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good summation of what's happening here.
Yeah, we're taking, honestly, this chapter could be a series within itself. But I'm doing something that I've never done before on a Sunday morning. Because Sunday morning, while we are expository in nature, you really don't try to bite off huge chunks. And especially where you're going to have to dig into symbolism and prophetic things, and that's impossible when it comes to studying the book of Revelation. So I sit there and I'm like, okay, how can I cover this to where it makes sense? Well, the only way to cover it where it makes sense for somebody who has no background or no point of reference to what he's talking about in the book of Revelation is you're going to have to cover this whole chapter together. And so, because, there's some you get one chance. They're here one Sunday, so what do we do? What do we do? And so then you try to say, okay, how am I going to, I don't want to say dumb it down, but how do you get it in that sweet spot to where it speaks to somebody that's been a follower of Christ for 40 years, who've been maturing in their faith, and then somebody who may not even know Jesus as Lord and Savior. And so as we started laying it out, I'm like, hey, there's this scroll. And then you have to say, well, let's talk a little bit of what a scroll is.
Yeah.
Because when we think of a book, we think of a bound book. And so he's talking about this scroll. There's 7 seals. Each seal would open up a different portion of that. And the number 7, we know in Jewish gematria, which is the symbolism of numbers, it means perfection. So here is this perfect book, this perfect scroll. And on one side, we'll deal with chapter 6, because I believe on one side it's talking about what's happening in earth, while the other side's talking about what's happening in heaven.
Right.
And so that's kind of how we laid it out. And why is it important to have someone there? And how do you determine what is the qualifying nature and characteristics of who will open the scroll? And so that's what we did on point number 1. Hey, here we go. A little bit about this scroll. But we could spend days just talking about the intricacies of that scroll.
Yeah, well, and there is a lot of symbolism, and I was kind of curious on how you were gonna, because I mean just in this chapter alone, but then as we continue through Revelation, there's just so much symbolism, and I appreciate the way you've done that. I appreciate the way that that you're taking your time with it, but without going like super deep with all these different theories and things like that. But,
well, and I don't know if I could get deep if I wanted to. That's not really who I am, I guess. But I'm thankful, or I'm blessed in the fact that it's easy for me to look at it from the viewpoint of let's not get very deep because that's not really who I am. I have to work if I want to get deep. I can, but that's not really the way I default. But here's what I love about it. You don't have to get deep to understand the truth of Scripture and to understand God and what's happening here. I mean, to me, we can say the scroll represents salvation. It represents the soul.
Yeah.
It represents the relationship with God, all those things that we forfeited, as we said before, peace, hope, purpose, plan, all those things with sin.
And then even the search for someone to open it. And you talk about how Muhammad couldn't open it, Buddha couldn't open it, Confucius couldn't open it, but we do have one, the Lion of the tribe of Judah is the one that opens. He's strong. He's sufficient.
Yeah, and a lot of folks, though, even though they wouldn't say, "Oh, I'm depending upon myself to open it," they're living that way.
Yeah. No,
man, I'm good. I'll be good. I was talking to one of our staff who had visited somebody in the hospital and asked the question, "Hey, listen, I need to, are you ready? Do you know the Lord is your Savior? If today were to be your last day?" And somebody interjected and said, "Hey, I want you to know he is a good man." And then in a very gentle, compassionate way, "Hey, yeah, but good doesn't get you into heaven. Let's talk about what salvation is. How can you know that you'll be there?" And I think there are still a lot of people that probably are living in such a way they've kind of, I think I use the terminology, have their own self-made religion to where, oh, no, I'll do things and that'll be what gets me there. Or I'll not do things and that cannot open the scroll. You can't open the scroll. We're going back to that beautiful symbolism of the kinsman redeemer.
Yeah.
And when you look at the kinsman redeemer characteristics, there is only one who can meet that.
Yeah.
And that's Jesus Christ, or the Lion. And as we said earlier, John's sitting here and John is weeping because he's like, that is what we need. That is what we've longed for.
Yeah.
That for the redemption of mankind. And then he's grieving, but there's no one that can open it. And it's almost like some say he had a dream, an out-of-body of experience. And we don't really know.
Yeah.
He's like, whether I was there in person or whether he even says, I'm not real sure. Probably like, I think he's feeling all the emotions and everything that we would feel as well. And even to me, the symbolism of the tears is like us looking at what have been the effects of the curse, of the bondage that we've been in at sin. And, I'll make the statements to folks. They'll just say, well, it's God's will that my loved one died. And I don't mean it to be a smart aleck or anything like that. And, I'm thinking, no, it wasn't God's will. God's will is that we would never know death.
Yeah.
Because God's will was we would never know sin. That wasn't what God desired. But man chose sin. And as a result of sin, disease, death, heartache, all these things. And so even in the midst of that, God says, okay, got a plan.
Yeah.
I've got a plan to even redeem the wickedness and the evilness of mankind. And so all those tears, and I think, I've done several funerals over my years of ministry. I know you've done funerals as well. And it's hard not to be emotional when you're there and there are family members that are standing before a casket and they're just weeping. And you try to very gently remind them, hey, listen, I know you see that body, but that they're not in that body. That body's not who they are. They're home with the Lord if they were believers. And anyway, but those tears, we can all identify with the tears of living in the world of curse. I texted with somebody just recently who had a spouse that had passed away. And I just said to him, I'm like, man, aren't you thankful to know that she's in a place where there are now no more effects of curse, and one day we'll be in that place.
Yeah.
We can't comprehend that.
Yeah.
Because we've never known that.
Yeah. So I want to go ahead and jump kind of to the end of your sermon, because this is where you get into some of these being the redeemed that's going to be in heaven. But, at the end of the day, we are worshiping the one who is worthy, the one who is the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the one who stood strong, who is, the Redeemer. Like, he's the one worthy of our worship. And so you kind of talk through, you even tell people, hey, get ready, like there's going to be singing and there's going to be worshiping and there's going to be, we're going to be at the feet of Jesus.
A new song. There are very few folks that I know, myself included, that are like, oh boy, a new song. Because I like to know the words, I kind of like to know what the beat's going to be. And I may hear a song the first time and be like, boy, I like that one. I never heard that one before. But there's not really a lot of us that would say, I like new. I was just telling you guys, my wife decided last week it's about time that you upgrade your phone. And I'm like, okay, all right, that's fine. I'm not one of those. There's some people that are like, as soon as they can. I mean, they get on the pre-list. Hey, put me down, man. I'll pay $1,000, $2,000, whatever I got to pay. Just put me down. I want the new phone. And then they purposefully will walk around pulling it out of their pocket to check the time on it so everybody will see they got a new phone. And because, man, there's value with having that new phone. I'm not that way. I like the old as far as what I feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about placement of buttons. I know where they are. All those kinds of things. And
you speak from experience.
Oh, goodness.
I
it's crazy. I remember the day when we functioned and lived without cell phones.
Oh, goodness.
Heaven forbid. How did that ever happen?
Yeah.
You used to have beepers, but then you had to go find a phone to call somebody when they beeped you. And anyway, so the new song, but again, it's, man, no, don't worry about those things. Who's it focused on? And we just have this, for lack of a better phrase, symphony of praise that is happening here. And we all got our harp and we got our bowl of incense and there's a bowl of tears. And I don't know how we're able to take care of all that, but I'm not worried about it. It's going to be okay. And we're sitting there and we're singing and you got the four living creatures and then you've got all the angels that are just saying over and over. And I'm thankful to know in heaven that for those of us who have older ears and hearing, and there are different frequencies that may twang it just a little, or like, man, that hurts my ears. I don't believe that'll be in heaven. I think that's a part of the curse and a part of the effect, right? So I don't think it'll be a situation where anybody's in heaven like, that's too loud. Can I be in the back? Put me in the back where it's not quite as loud. I don't think anybody's going up to the sound man in heaven. Can you turn her down a little bit? It's just going to be so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And my goodness, just a beautiful picture of, hey, there is one. You don't have to cry. He's able to do what nobody else can do. And how that promise applies to life today.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you don't have to be upset. You don't have to grieve. You don't have to worry. You don't have to have fear. Jesus can handle it.
Yeah.
Just trust in him. He can handle it.
Yeah.
And so what is my focus to be? I'll just worship the one who was slain and he stood up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he is the strong Lion of the tribe of Judah. So it's a pretty neat chapter. Again, I could have preached easily 6 sermons on it.
Well, and you say, get ready. It's going to be a great festival of praise because he is the only one who is worthy to take back what we once was ours. And, man, it's just a festival of praise. Well, man, as always, thank you for pointing us to Jesus and pointing us to the truth of Scripture and working through all that symbolism and revelation. So, man, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching right here on the Unchangeable Truth Podcast.
This is Pastor Stephen Kyle, and I would like to thank you for listening to this week's episode of Unchangeable Truth. We would always love to talk to you about your relationship with Jesus Christ, so feel free to shoot us an email at podcast@highlandpark.org. That's HILANDPARK.org. The purpose of this broadcast is to help you fall more in love with Jesus Christ and your faith to grow as you consistently find yourself in the Word of God. If you ever find yourself in Panama City, please feel free to stop by and worship with us in person at 2611 Highway 231 North. May God bless you, and we look forward to you joining us again.